From high atop the world headquarters of Southeastern Fly, this is the Southeastern Fly podcast. Thanks for joining us on this episode. Hit the like and click the follow. Sign up for the Southeastern Fly newsletter. It's free, and you can probably find it right there on the bottom of wherever you're listening to this podcast. If not, it's on the website. It's on Southeastern Fly Facebook group. It's everywhere. So sign up for it. Just gives you a little bit of intel on what is coming up. Also, that you get four emails right off the bat that just kind of fuel your fly fishing just a little bit and gives you some information on fish and food and oxygen, that sort of thing. So they're about 2 emails a month, every other week coming out. So you get a little bit of taste of what's coming up, a couple of pointers, some pro tips, just a lot of different little things. It's a quick read. Getting good feedback on it that it's a quick read, and everybody likes that. I don't like reading novels, so that's why I wrote it in just a couple pages. So anyway, just sign up wherever and we'll put it in your inbox and you can read it while you're supposed to be working or something like that. So here we go. Who are our guests today on this episode 100 of the Southeastern Fly podcast? We have been fishing together. They've already been on the show once, so this is no great mystery of who these guys are. But we've been fishing together on a monthly basis or we've been getting together on a monthly basis for 15 years or so, maybe more than that now. We've fished together occasionally. A couple guys fished together this morning, I guess. We tie flies together. We tell lies together. We come from different backgrounds and are of various ages, and we went to different schools together. We all like fly fishing, and that's the main ingredient of this concoction that we call the Liars and Tyers. So let's do a quick introduction here. Introduce our victims, our participants on the podcast, and we're just going to go in alphabetical order, and then I'll follow up with me at the end. So, wearing the pith helmet tonight, which is a whole other story that you'd have to see that video, but there's a chance it could show up somewhere out there very soon. But Chief Pretenzero, the Reverend Jim, and many other names, we know him as Anthony. Please welcome to the podcast, Anthony Williams. Anthony, thank you for stopping by.
Hey, thanks for having us back. I didn't think we actually get invited back after the last time, but, this will be either better or worse than the last time, so we'll see where it goes.
Well, the invite back was touch and go there for a minute, but...
it should have been, yeah.
Yeah, right. So,
second one thing, David, one thing. Go Vols.
Yeah, go Vols. That's right.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, we're good.
Second one today is he never fishes much, although he's starting to. He's starting to fish a little bit more around home, so be careful. He usually travels great distances to fly fish in exotic and natural places, but he was on the last podcast and did a really nice job, had in-depth responses, and please welcome back to the podcast, Barry Huber. Barry, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, David. Thanks for having me.
All right, this guy's been on the podcast several times. I think he's been on the podcast more than any one person out there. The poor guy. We interviewed him on episode number 2, and what I was doing there is picking people that I thought, well, maybe if I do this, they won't kick me out, and they might let me go ahead and post this. So he is a talented guy, creative, former college football star, the guy that we all love to hate. Please welcome back to the podcast, Dan Charlie. Dan, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for that awesome introduction. It's good to be back. I'm honored to be here on episode 100, just as honored as I was at episode 2. So this is a thrill for me.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that, and thank you for letting me come over and do episode 2 in your.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. In the art room. If you don't know, Dan Charlie is a watercolor artist, and there's you can't see it, but right up here there's an original by Dan Charlie hanging there. We've got Betsy Santa downstairs. We've got the picture that was on front of the Arkansas White River book, or whatever that was, the Arkansas Tailwaters book. And I've got another one. Oh, yeah, I've got an original that you painted for me of a fish I caught. Just got a lot of artwork from Dan, and it's good. Go to dancharlie.com. There you go, Dan.
Thank you,
out
David.
there.
Yeah, and
Yep.
honored by that too. Yeah, if you want to be an artist, if you can sell to your friends, that's a good way to say art. So you guys have been very nice to me. I appreciate it.
No, it's quality stuff. So, last and certainly not least, from inside his motorcycle garage, there he's working on my CT90 back there in the corner. He just doesn't know it yet that it's going to be mine one day. Everybody needs a friend like this, someone that you can call and say, hey, I need to do something. How do I do it? This guy is our phone a friend, as my daughter used to call him. You need a phone a friend whenever I would get into something I couldn't fix. And we know him as Yoda. Please welcome back to the podcast, Gary Woods. Gary, thanks for stopping by, man.
I appreciate the invite. It's good to be somewhere. This is good.
This is good as any.
That's just about as good as any. Yeah.
Good as any, and better than a few places. So
He said in his
lot of places.
garage, you know.
yeah, right.
Garage.
Yeah, but
So,
he's got
yes.
motorcycles all in there though.
That's
So
true.
that's what makes it really cool. Okay, so let's get rolling. The whole premise behind this episode is I heard this topic on a fly fishing podcast about probably 10 years ago. And they did it a little differently, and it's probably some other folks have probably done it, and that's cool. We're going to do it differently than anybody else. So what I want to do is give a scenario of what some people say fly fishing is, and then these guys are going to give the answer to whether or not, what's your answer to the question? Is it fly fishing or not? Why'd you answer it that way? And it's okay to make everybody mad. I don't care. And have you fished that way before? Because if you haven't fished that way before, is it okay if you talk about it or not? Have I tried, do I like sushi? If you say no, the next question is what? Well, have you ever tried it? And if somebody says no, then you have no standing in the topic. So anyway, we're going to, let's go ahead and kick it off. Here we go. So here's the first scenario. Fishing upstream only. Fishing with the bamboo rod. Leader made of horsetail, all natural materials on the fly, and you have to wear that funny hat. So I'm just going to start with Dan, since he's staring me. He's like staring me right in the face. So let's start there, Dan.
I have a qualifying question. Let me respond to your question with a question. The funny hat. Describe the funny hat?
The funny hat. Well, it's not a pith helmet, although it could be.
Just any general funny hat.
Yeah, just any general funny hat. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
but not a clown hat. So like the little flat hat, not flat bill, but the flat hat, that old men wear, older than us. And
That would be a skid lid.
Yeah. Wait a second. Yeah, there you go.
Would be a what?
Skid lid.
Skid lid, yes, or one of those
a fedora.
A fedora, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I had the fedora on back when I first started fly fishing, and when we were all trying to be Brad Pitt from River Runs Through It.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Those photos are hopefully not buried somewhere on my computer that will show up one day. But yeah, that happened. I have never, believe it or not, in all the years of fly fishing, I have never fished with a bamboo rod. And definitely have never fished with a leader made of horsetail. I have a funny hat.
Mm-hmm.
I have used all natural materials. I have fished upstream only for a period of time. So I will go with, do I have to make a decision whether or not that it is fly fishing or not?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm creating rules here or not, but
no, you're not. If you are,
I think it is fly fishing, just not fly fishing that I would do.
Oh, okay. Interesting answer. Why wouldn't you do it? This is a family-run show, too, by the way. We've got kids listening, so be careful.
I think the bamboo rod I would use, the leader made of horsetail. I think I'm just too married to modern stuff.
Yeah, gotcha. Me too. The horsetail thing would be fun until the fish broke off.
Yes, until you hooked one and lost it. Yeah,
right.
Like, oh, that was kind of stupid.
And my all-natural fly would be gone, too.
Yeah.
Let's move up to Barry. Barry, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's fly fishing. Is it the type of fly fishing that I do? No, I'm not opposed to any of that, except like we talked about. I mean, I don't own a bamboo rod. I'm not opposed to fishing one. I'm a little clumsy. I'm not sure that would be a good idea. I'd be too afraid to fish. I knew if I fished a bamboo rod, it would be broken within a couple hours. So
come on.
horsehair, like I said, I've never fished with that. Don't probably intend to. Funny hat. I'm sure there's probably some hats I've bought. A funny hat. Sure, what the heck? It keeps the sun off, and yeah, that's fine. And I do prefer like all materials, all natural materials. I prefer doing that. The flies that I do tie, I usually use mostly natural material, not opposed to some of the synthetics, but I still like that old school look in the fly. And it's buggy. The stuff that's now that imitates, it's almost like you're fishing with an actual, just a little stamped plastic bug right out,
Yeah.
right out of. So, I mean, that kind of takes a little bit away from it. But again, it's all about catching fish. And like I said, I'm really not opposed to any of those in question one, given the right circumstances. What the heck?
Good. All right. Pith helmet, man. Anthony Williams.
Yeah. Is it fly fishing? Heck yeah. Have I done it? No. I will admit I do own a bamboo rod, which I use once a year in a very careful, controlled condition so that I don't break it. But the visual image that you get from laying out those criteria is like Dan said, it's kind of a river runs through it, and a river runs through it. Kind of ruined fly fishing because everybody figured it out. Like that looks like it's something cool. I want to try it.
Yeah.
And so they got their funny hats and their very expensive bamboo rods, went out there and beat the rivers to death. So is it fly fishing? Yeah.
All right. Yoda, it's your turn, motorcycle man.
Fishing upstream only. I will fish whatever direction the fish are. I'm sorry. Bamboo rod. I have a bunch of them. They hang on my wall. I've never fished one. I think they're beautiful. Maybe someday I'll fish one of them. The horsetail stuff just over the top.
Yeah.
All natural materials when appropriate. Yes. Bugs and stuff like that. If I'm tying a frog to catch a bass, I'm going to use foam. I have a lot of funny hats. Even my head's kind of funny looking without a hat. So here's kind of where I'm at on that. I think it's good for us to know the history of the sport, of our passion, to know about it, know where it came from, and maybe experiment with some of it. I think that's a healthy thing to dabble in that, to keep it alive. My personal feeling is that if you're fishing with a fly rod, it's fly fishing. And I don't care if that's a brand new graphite or if it's a 100-year-old bamboo with a horsetail tippet. I don't. I'm not one of those people that gets all hung up on that sort of. I know there's people that do, and that's fine for them. But it's just not. That's not me.
I see the whole horsetail thing in the Smokies, old style, upstream only, and in England over in that in far across the ocean, that sort of thing. It would be a novelty to me to be able to say, yeah, I caught a fish on it, but
sure.
But I'm not sure I want to do that. All right, let's move on down. Question number 2. We're going to start with Barry this time. Swinging a fly downstream. 8-weight new style fiberglass rod, and Barry's building a fiberglass rod right now. Sinking or floating line, I don't really care. Fishing a streamer. The streamer has a gold blade that spins, and then you're just standing there casting out, swinging it, put your non-dominant hand in your wading jacket pocket, and during your whole presentation, and then at the end, strip it back almost straight upstream. What do you think, Barry?
Yeah, again, I think it's definitely like Gary said, it's fly fishing. If you're using a fly rod and you got a fly line and you're using artificial lure of some sort, I think it's fly fishing. Most of those things on that list I have done and will hopefully do again sometime. I mean, like I said, like swing and fly downstream. I mean, I've never really steelheaded fish one time, never really salmon fished. To me, I guess that question that pertains to a lot of the steelheaders that you read about with the two-handed rods, which I think are cool, which I've never fished a two-handed rod. I'd love to give it a try to see if I could do that. But like I said, I fish sinking lines a lot when we go fish streamers a lot. The only thing probably I would have a little objection to, and not objection's too strong of a word, but I don't think I'd fish with any type of gold blade or spins. And again, I think it's just too hard to cast for me. I mean, anything that's real big and clunky like that. I mean, to me, that's just too much work, too much effort, a little bit hard enough with an 8 weight. But I would like to try this fishing, even though I've never really done that type of, that steelhead salmon type fishing where you do the swing and your hand in the pocket. I got fishing today. It's a little cold out there this morning. I had one hand in my pocket for a lot of time when I drifted it down. So heck yeah. I think it'd be fun to try that type of fishing. I've not really done a lot of it other than just, the regular streaming fishing we do here for bass or, skipjack or whatever. But I think it'd be fun to try that type of fishing.
So are you hung up on the gold blade? Like,
yeah, that's something I wouldn't do. Just, I don't know, just personal preference. I wouldn't hold it against anybody. Our friend Gary could make one of those in probably a heartbeat, but I don't think I could. I just would be too hard to cast, I think. And so, yeah.
Let's see what Gary says. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, as far as swinging the fly, yeah, I like fishing the swing in the waters we fish around here. Singing or floating line, heck yeah. Streamer, oh yeah. I have never fished a streamer that has a gold blade on it. I have, however, fished one that had a silver blade on it. Out west.
There we go.
Out west this fall.
You're out. You're out.
You're out.
Man he threw a rooster tail. He did it.
No, I bought a couple wood buggers in a fly shop in Colorado this fall that had them that had a little silver blade on them, a little tiny blade, and I thought, hey, why not? I didn't catch any fish. I actually fished one. Didn't catch any fish on it, but I don't know, the trout police didn't come, pick me up and throw me in the slammer, so I guess I'm still okay.
Did you feel all dirty and need to take a shower afterwards?
No, actually not.
No,
it was okay.
You still have them?
Yeah, well, I got one of them. I think I lost one, and
well, that's good.
they actually weren't that hard to throw, but it's a tiny little blade.
Yeah.
If I was going to make one, I wouldn't make it out of metal. I would make it out of a piece of thick mylar, like you cut out of a package or something.
Yeah,
I've experimented with that a little bit. The non-dominant hand thing, I was going to ask you, is that called the Napoleon cast or what?
It's a Napoleon swing, I guess, where you stick your hand in your jacket pocket because it's so dang cold usually.
Oh,
or
okay.
maybe you have to do that. I don't know. Maybe you have to do that if you're spay casting or spay fishing.
Yeah.
Maybe you cast and get everything set up, and then maybe it's a rule. I don't know. I don't spay cast enough to.
It would be both hands, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but after you're done there, whenever it's in the water and you're doing your presentation, you have to stick your hand in your pocket, and that could be rule number one. And I just haven't investigated. I've never done a podcast on spay fishing either, and maybe I need to find that out. That would be a great question for a spay caster. Like, do you have to stick your non-dominant hand in the pocket?
I'm not much of a rule follower, so
that's true. That's the understatement.
I'd get kicked out.
Yeah,
y'all tolerate me, but I think a lot of places I'd probably get booted out. So,
all right, Anthony, let's hear what you got to say.
Well, before we go into that, I want to tell folks that podcasts are great. It's really a shame that this is not on video, because to see Dan Charlie imitate spay casting is life changing.
Oh, it's going to be on YouTube.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
There he goes. Actually, it looks like he could probably do.
You got to do that.
Yeah, right. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think you can do it, Dan.
I think I can. It looks intuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that was one of the words I wasn't looking for, but yeah, right. That's what I meant.
It's a family show.
True, it's a family show. Okay, all right. Let's hear it, Anthony.
I'm going to assume that he was imitating spay casting, but anyway,
he was.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'm getting, senile. Well,
we can all answer that, but go ahead.
But, yeah, that's right. I just don't know who you people are, so it really doesn't matter. I'm going to make a confession right here to your thousands of listeners. I just ordered some silver blades to tie into some flies for some bass fishing this year. I'm gonna give it a shot. And when I got them, I looked at them. I thought, this is really, I can't do it. And so I sent them back. but I think it's legitimate. But the whole time that we've been planning this podcast, we're all in the South, thank God. Some of us come from places other than the South, bless their hearts. And you've got, I'm assuming, a lot of listeners out there that don't even know what the South is, and they're kind of fly fishing. I mean, it goes everywhere. They troll flies in places up the Northeast, from what I understand, and do stuff like that. It's really hard to define. So that being said, to answer the question that you wanted me to ask half an hour ago, swinging a fly downstream, fiberglass rod. That's definitely fly fishing to me, with the exception of putting your non-dominant hand somewhere.
Yeah.
That can get a little iffy, unless you're pulling out a weapon.
Right.
And
So
places
always fish with a gun.
Yeah, and places we fished, one might need it, go into the pocket for something. But anyway,
once.
Yeah. Go on.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast right there of where should you fish and where should you take a gun, for sure. All right, Dan, let's hear your take.
Well, I think it's probably a fine line between this approach and flinging a rooster tail with the Zebco 33. But
yeah,
I've done this. I've done exactly this scenario. I've thrown a fly with a gold spoon on it. It is actually hard to get it to work the way you want to. It sounds like a good idea, and it really works. It's almost, to me, in thinking back when I did this, it was like the fly with the spinner was a gateway fly that opened me up more to fly fishing.
Yeah.
So the obsession started afterwards, but I don't think I ever caught a fish on the fly with the spinner on it. But I'd
challenge
vote yes.
Accepted.
It's fly fishing. Maybe not in the purest sense, but it is fly fishing.
All right, I'll answer this one. No way is this fly fishing. No way. I've never done it. I don't intend to do it. But hey, if you want to do it, that's cool.
Right.
I don't want to make all four of you mad at me and you hang up on me right now. But but if you,
are you talking about your four listeners or about us?
The four listeners either. Okay. Yeah, we want them to hang. Well, I thought we had five, but I don't know. Do you count your mother as a listener? Yeah. That's always my question.
You got to. Okay, so you're drawing the line at the blade.
I think I'm drawing the line at the blade on this question. Yes.
Okay.
I think that's where my line is. The rest of it's fine. Especially the fiberglass rod, the sinking or floating line. I'm all about that kind of stuff. I love swinging streamers, and I don't know about putting your non-dominant hand in your wading jacket, but Barry makes a good point that over the past, for about the past month, it has been cold, and yeah. I can see me doing that and just holding it under my arm, putting both hands in my wading jacket, to be honest with you. So,
well, David, at the last Liars and Tyers, we had our last gathering for dinner. Unfortunately, you couldn't make that one, but we did have a discussion about any fly. And maybe there's a question here for you. Do you consider any? Well, let me put this in there. Any dry fly we consider to be fly. That's a fly, right? I mean, if you're throwing a dry fly out there, that's fly fishing.
Yeah.
Everything else is a jig.
That's kind of true too.
That's kind of where we got to.
What's your reaction to that?
Yeah.
Well, that's when you're fishing a streamer downstream, you can dead drift it, but you can also strip it. You can make it move, and it is similar to what you would be doing for the jig. Maybe the nymphing's a little bit of a stretch there, but we were having that discussion.
No, but if you're
actually, I think I brought it up.
If you're doing something like fishing something articulated, something with weight on the front that's made to jig, right? One of those streamers.
Game changer kind of thing, or
no, not a game changer. It's a Russ Madden fly. Hell, I just talked to Russ the other day. Peanut Envy, Circus Peanut, that type of fly. Yeah. I mean, they're made to jig, and there's a lot of other flies that are made to jig. No, it's not made to jig. It's made to jerk strip and strip, but it's something with heavy lead eyes that you're more or less just jigging it back to you. So some streamers are definitely made for that, and I mean, they are jigs. We're getting closer and closer and closer, in my opinion, to conventional fishing.
Oh, that's for sure.
especially in the streamer world. I mean, you just look online and you see all these different patterns and all these different materials, synthetics, like Barry was talking about it, but now they're going further and taking all kinds of things and just throwing them on a fly, and then everybody runs out and ties them, and they don't usually work. But some do, some work very well. So I don't know. The jigging on the nymph, there's another question in here that's going to kind of hit on that a little bit. If you're dead drifting in nymph, you're not jigging, but now there's the nymph flies are flipping over, and we're turning them into jigs with jig heads that are, I got some beads the other day that were jig heads. They're just beads that have a little indentation in them, and they sit up top just like a bead would, sort of flip over, and then you just tie your fly to it. But anyway, yeah, I think that's where we're headed as a group, as a fly fishing as a whole. We still have some holdouts there. Maybe I'm one of them. There's another group of guides that are using rubber, like not a rubber worm, but same stuff, and they're putting them on jig hooks and nymph hooks and stuff like that. And they're more like, what are those called? They're here. I see some guys with boats with the names on trout magnet. They're more like trout magnets than they are anything, but they've got a different name for them, so that makes it okay. And then you've got the rubber worms. You've got there's all kinds of stuff out there. So I don't know, and it is about trying to figure out where you want to draw the line for yourself, but you don't want to get too much into I don't do it, therefore you can't do it, or I don't think you should do it. I think that's a bunch of malarkey.
I'll remind you about 40, 50 years ago when people started saltwater fishing with a fly rod, and all the purists cried foul,
right,
and said, "Oh, that's horrible. Y'all are all going to a hot place for doing that and all that." And now it's perfectly accepted, and it's part of the sport, and nobody even thinks anything about it. But I've read about those days, and it upset a lot of people that have one hand in their vest while they're casting or whatever, and just saying. So things evolve. All things do. They evolve or they die. If this sport hadn't evolved, there'd be 4 or 5 crusty old men standing around in the streams and Rockies still fishing with horsehair and bamboo rods, and that'd be all we'd know. So some of it, maybe sometimes it evolves too fast for us, and we can't adjust to it.
Yeah,
that's why I say it's good for us to know the history, and to dabble in that, because it kind of keeps one foot grounded in the old world, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Is that fair?
Agree. It does evolve. It is evolving super fast with the internet and social media and YouTube, teaching how to use all these new fangled materials, and just a lot going on. All right, let's move to the next question. All right, so a graphite rod with floating line, a mono leader, a large terrestrial pattern with a dropper, and the dropper is a real salmon egg.
Graphite rod, floating rod, mono leader, terrestrial pattern, dropper, dropper's a real salmon egg. I would personally draw the line there. I would not do that, and I would not do that and call it fly fishing. It's just like we've kind of been alluding to. Everybody's got to draw their own line where they feel. And I get that technology has taken us, leaps and bounds from the old bamboo and then cane poles and then fiberglass pole. And I've got everybody gets tired of hearing about it, but I've got my first fiberglass fly rod that I bought 50 some odd years ago, at Western Auto, and it still fishes really good. I probably got the same reel too. I think it's getting down to how we present the fly, for lack of a better term, and how we control the drift or the retrieve, how we fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not putting bait fishermen down. I'm not putting spin fishermen down. I'm not putting trolling fishermen down. but it's a little bit more involved to get a fly where you want to with a fly rod than it is to get a rooster tail close to the bank and reel it back in. There's more connection between you and the fly than there is between you and the rooster tail. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Then
there's more involvement.
But I would question why the top bass pros are continuously the top bass pros if there's, well, you said more with the fly than with the rooster tail. But that being said, there's something there where these top bass pros, the top 10 or top 20 guys or people are always the top 10 or 20 people in the Bassmasters. So there's something else there on that side.
You think that's in the retrieve, maybe to an extent?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I have wondered why do I keep saying these, seeing these same names pop up? You know, at one time I thought, well, maybe they're just the people that can afford to do it. And then they're playing for some real money.
Yeah.
And I've seen some people around here that have probably spent enough money to be one of the top 20. They're just not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's something to that. But anyway, that's another subject for another
But
podcast,
I mean, they look at the whole thing. I mean, they learn what a bass likes, you know, and they take it from there. They spend a lot of time on the lake learning where the bass are under different conditions.
Yeah.
They're professionals. They're experts in that.
They're professionals.
And I'm not saying that there's not in the fly fishing world, but it just we kind of know, you know, where the fish are on the Caney. You know where the fish are on the elk. You fish it enough, you know where they're not to a great extent. That's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
But I think they have a skill level way and above the average spoon plugger.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah, they are. Barry, what are your thoughts on this question?
Yeah, like I said, I object probably, I guess where I would draw the line as well is probably not with a real salmon egg, but I mean, yeah, obviously graphite rod, the floating line, mono leader. You know, hopper fishing is probably some of the most fun fishing I've done out west is on the hopper. I just love it. The take on the hopper is just the coolest thing in the world. And I've fished a lot with hopper droppers with the nymphs. And I think that, to my way of thinking, is fly fishing. You know, again, when you get into a real salmon egg, I think then you're using bait. Nothing wrong with bait if the object is catching fish, but to me, that's not really fly fishing if you're using a real salmon egg. So that's probably where I would probably make a distinction. Other than that, I guess I'm very comfortable with all those other bullet points under that. So yeah, I'm not sure about the real salmon egg though. Draw the line there.
Dan, what do you think?
And it's the same. I think everything up to the salmon egg makes a lot of sense, and it'd be something I would consider with fly fishing. But it's not. I guess in a way, I'm going to waffle a little bit. It's still fly fishing. It's just, again, an approach that probably wouldn't do. It feels a little bit. I don't know. You're crossing streams.
It's not in the spirit of fly fishing.
Yeah.
There you
it's
go.
not expensive enough.
Oh, I don't know what one of those little bottles of real salmon eggs cost now, but I bet they're like 5 times as much as I paid for them back in
eggs are
1998. I bet they are.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, what are your thoughts?
I got to draw the line at the real salmon egg, but I have no problem fishing an egg pattern. When you asked us about this, I really chewed on all this for a while, and looked at my own life in this, And one of the things I thought about was fly fishing. But this is my definition. Doesn't mean anything. It is about choosing to do something the harder, more difficult way. It's just very easy to pick up very easy. It's easy to go pick up a spinning reel or Zebco 33 if you want, and go do that. And it's about being a lifelong learner. And because I'm a long time past being a kid, and I don't know anything, every time I go, I learn more and more, and hopefully it'll continue until I'm 10 toes up. And this is my description, because people find out that you're my wife always tells people, he's a fly fisherman. There's something that if fishing comes up or water comes up, my husband's a fly fisherman. I hear this all the time. This is what I tell non-believers. If fishing by any other means is a sport, fly fishing is part dance, part art form, part drug. and it leads us to a more conservational approach to fishing and to our waters and a better appreciation of the natural world around us, because it forces us to slow down a little bit, to be deliberate, stop chasing numbers and fish, and concentrate on the experience. And a lot of times that experience is watching an otter or watching a bald eagle fly by you, or just being out in the bitter cold with your friends. And that to me is part of what fly fishing is different than conventional. Yeah, some of that is happens, no doubt. But I think it does make us. I think the very act of what it is slows us down, lets us look around a little bit. Sometimes, David, I've been in boat with you a lot of times, and you or other people just lay the rod down, just enjoy what you're looking at. You know, the things that fly by, swim by, sunsets, whatever, you know. So I think a bigger picture of fly fishing kind of falls under that heading of a different worldview of our waters and what we do with fish and things like that. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to jump on that too, because you know, not every fly fisherman I met, but the large majority of them, it's more than about the number of fish you catch. It's the whole process from, you know, tying a fly if that's what you choose to do, to go in different places. We take great delight in finding new rivers, and I'm not putting bait casters down or spin fishermen or anything like that. We're just looking for a little something different. Now, I've got a question for you, oh great God. I was looking
Hold on,
over
I'll go
Mr.
get one. I'll be right back.
Here we go. You got me. You were the best. That gets me another free trip. Okay, I've been going through the list of definition of what is fly fishing and what is not. There's one vital piece of equipment that you left out of every single option.
Okay.
The bobicator.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You did not lift indicator any of those.
We did,
and that used to be heresy.
Yeah, right. We've done that to death. I mean, everybody's got an opinion on that, and everybody's opinion, you know, for the most part, they think is right. So, my opinion is we use indicators instead of bobbers, so we can pay more for them.
Yes.
And the people that I fish with, I'm not going to pontificate on this very long, I promise. But the people that I fish with that are like, I am only using a dry fly. The one thing that will kill that whole thought process, that whole theory, save one person, and I fished with him last year, save for one person, is to put somebody on the boat that's using a bobber and catching more fish than them. And that dry fly will be gone before it'll be gone quicker than the pith helmet. Where'd the pith helmet go? Where did he take that off?
This time I'll put it back on. It was getting hot.
Oh, okay. Well, no, you don't have to. I just noticed it was gone.
I got it right here.
But yeah, the whole dry fly, I only fish it. And I've seen people on the river that are diehard dry flies, and they're catching fish on dry droppers.
Yeah.
But they're not mentioning the droppers whenever they talk about the fish. But you see them fishing the dry droppers. You're like, dude, I saw you on Thursday.
Something's hanging from the bottom of that.
Right. Yeah. How is that fish not hanging on that dry? It's just hanging in the air unless you have, you've got a midge on there. Okay. All right. But it is underneath the dry, and that's their excuse for it. But anyway, so I didn't put I intentionally didn't mention the bobbers.
Okay.
So, all right. So next question. And this is a real life scenario. So I pretty much already know where everybody's going to stand on this, but there used to be a gentleman that worked at Nissan that came over, and I would see him on one of the rivers that I fished almost every time I went. And he had this long Tenkara-like rod, but it's a little bigger, a little heftier. And he always had a stringer. It didn't always have fish on it, but he, sometimes I got there and was floating past him. He had just gotten there. But it was okay. He's fishing Tenkara was kind of the way that I was looking at it. He had a bobber on there too. It was more like cane pole fishing, but he had also this little canister of chicken livers. And that was his way to fish. That was his, and he was sort of fly fishing, sort of cane pole fishing, and sort of live or bait fishing. So he was, but anyway, after answering the last question, I would assume that everyone would say that is, they would draw the line there on the chicken livers.
I would draw the line that I would not call it fly fishing.
Yeah.
Not that I would draw the line and not fish like that, but I would draw the line. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What if the chicken livers below a big terrestrial pattern?
If you carve them into
I don't know. I guess you could take a fillet knife and carve them into one.
You're like you carve into a cricket.
Yeah. And
the hopper clucker.
I think you can do that. Okay.
Hopper clucker.
Well, that's making a fly out of a natural material. So
that's true.
You've opened quite a door here.
Yeah. Yeah.
A smelly little door, but a door nonetheless.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just think you catch a bunch of catfish on them too if you ever get them to look up.
Would you have to put wings on it?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, if it's going to be a hopper.
I don't see why not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's put some wings on it. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. So, question number 6 is 11-foot 2-weight. I think everybody knows where we're going. Straight mono with a cider, some tippet, fish only nymphs. That's it. Wearing a flat brimmed hat. Say dude a lot and drink Pabst Blue Ribbon or better yet, Montucky Cold Snack. Dan?
For all these, whether it's skirting the line between fly fishing and conventional fishing, I've been like, more power to you. Whatever you want to do with this, whatever you find success with. This one's just weird to me. The 11-foot 2-weight, I can't even imagine. I guess you could say it's fly fishing. It's just bizarro to me.
This has been banned in Tennessee.
Has it been banned in Tennessee? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of makes me mad just hearing it. I'm going to vote no. It's not fly fishing. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Come on, dude.
Does this actually happen? Are there people actually going out there with a 2-weight that's 11 feet long and trying to fish with nymphs only?
Yeah, I've got some down there in the garage right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. I got 2 of them. Yeah, I think they're 11 foot. Maybe they're 10 foot. Maybe they're 10-foot 3-weights or 11-foot 3-weights. Yeah.
And you cast them?
It's like chuck and duck, kind of.
Yeah.
It's in the Southeastern Fly Museum.
Yeah. It's Euro nymphing is all it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Euro nymphing. Yeah. I didn't realize 2-weights were used for that. It just
that's what throws everybody off.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So Barry, what are your thoughts?
I'm still stuck on the chicken livers, man. I'm going to get some dark rye and some horseradish sauce to make a little chicken liver sandwich is what I want.
Just threw up in my mouth a little bit. That's awful.
I need a break.
And I'm telling you, that type of fishing is, I don't know anything about that either. I've never really Euro fished or any of that. So to me, it's not my personal type of fly fishing that I like to do. Again, I think that's fine. If that's people want to catch some fish and it's something they're comfortable with, that's great. I will have to say though that I probably did buy a flat brimmed hat though, so I guess I am in part of that group. And a good friend, they would never let you order a salad at a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
A good friend would never let you buy a flat brimmed hat. My friend Dan let me buy a flat brimmed hat. So,
no way.
Yeah. I got it home and looked in the mirror and I go, "Oh my God!"
Wait, he was with you?
Yeah. So, and it looks great on you, Barry. Yeah, it looks good.
Good friends.
We may have to have a called meeting after we're through with this. And
there's
some things that.
There's some points going against you
for that. And it also, though, and it may involve the latter too of drinking Pabst or Kentucky Cold snack. So
Yeah, right.
there is that
Yeah,
that
that's
correlation too.
Okay, okay. What kind of hat is it? All right, Dan, tell us the story.
I don't remember this one. Is this a Nashville Predator hat
Again,
or
going
something?
back to
No, this is at Cedar Glade Brewery that one night when the hats they had for sale at the Cedar Glade Brewery.
Oh, okay. Well, yes,
the music-
there was beer involved. Probably didn't have my glasses on either.
Yeah.
This portion of the
Yeah,
show is
Or
brought to
maybe
you
I was
by
just
Cedar
being
Glade.
mean that night, going, "Yeah, sure, it looks great on you.
Yeah.
It's awesome." No, don't look at yourself. Yeah, trust me, it's
yeah,
awesome.
you don't need to trust me.
No, you can't trust him. Now we know.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Oh,
Sorry,
well.
Barry. I did not know
That's
that.
all right.
Wow.
All right,
Well,
Anthony.
That's all right.
All right, Anthony. What's your take?
What? Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm against it.
Are you?
I'm really no. Yeah, I'm really not. If you go back to how fly fishing, for lack of a better term, started up in East Tennessee in the streams, I mean, it was pretty much like that. You had a real long cane pole, not a bamboo rod, but a real long cane pole with a little line on it and straight.
Yep.
And you had nymphs. I mean, that's how it was done.
Yeah.
There was never a flat brim hat involved.
Thank the Lord.
I think people like that were sent to Kentucky or something. I don't really know. But
Or
that
to
type
the
of
brewery.
fishing, yeah,
Apparently.
brewery or somewhere. But the equipment is, I think there's some tradition to that. It's been bastardized a little bit, but yeah, I think I'd say okay if you leave the dude part out.
Yeah.
And the flatbread hat, and if you leave the people out, the type of fishing's okay.
Oh, Yoda.
I'm building a Euro trash rod right now. I don't have any idea if I'll ever fish it or not. But anyway, it seemed like a good idea to build one. And
Something Dan talked you into?
no, Dan, and he
One
talked to
long
me
practical joke on all of you.
Barry's got a hat he'll give you when you get done with it.
Right. Yeah, there you go, Barry. That's what you've been looking for.
Dan went home and told his wife, "You won't believe what I talked Barry into buying."
She was there. She was in on it.
Oh, that's even worse.
It was an elaborate scheme.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
But so, I'm not even 100% sure of how they fish those. I've asked a lot, and it's just an excuse to build another rod because I don't have enough of them. And so I don't say
you don't have a problem either.
no. I don't have a problem. No to the flat brim hat. Heck no. Say dude a lot. No, I have nothing against Paisley ribbon if it's in a bottle. So anyway, or a mason jar.
Oh,
So
mason jar's a whole other float.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't, I don't know how to do that properly, but I do know that here one day I'll have a rod finish that I could do it with,
So we'll go fish it.
Yeah. Just
Barry will come and bring the hat for you.
well, he can. Yeah.
And I'll
I
bring
won't
the
wear
beer.
it, but
I'll bring the paps.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get
Okay,
we'll get the
other than
hat
the
on him.
hat, what's the difference between that and Tenkara? Well, they're both real long poles.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's
Okay,
enough difference
all
to even
You don't
talk
make a
about,
roll
honestly.
Casting, right? I mean, that's
Yeah, it's more roll casting than anything.
Yeah, it's to me the Euro approach is just it's too much math. When you got certain lengths of all these
Yeah.
different diameter lines and different colors and all that stuff, it starts to get really complicated.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm
It's
sure I won't
effective,
be
it
good at it.
works. It does work, and the concept we've talked about this, David. I mean, the concept of it is a heavy fly down in the strike zone for a consistent amount of time.
Yep.
Without giving away secrets, we've kind of stumbled into, or you stumbled into this as a good approach for nymphing period. But it's maybe not the Euro style, but it's just getting your fly in front of the fish where they are.
Yep.
So that's
your
real
whole
effective
job.
from that standpoint.
That's the whole
And you
job.
still
of
got to
fly
land.
fishing.
You still got to land if you're lucky enough to hook up with a decent fish. You still got to land him on a 2-weight rod.
Yeah, that's
Or
way
3-way.
longer than you are tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's extremely long. So it could get real interesting. real fast, I think.
Yeah, it's so deadly. And I may have told this story before, but I had two people on the boat, and one of them was not catching fish traditional under a bobber. Certainly couldn't catch them on the dry, and couldn't cast far enough to fish a streamer.
I said I was sorry.
And so anyway, right before lunch, I put him on a Euro rod and showed him how to do it. I caught a fish almost right off the bat, and he caught a fish right after that, and another. Then we ate lunch, and I said, "All right, well, let's go back to fishing." He said, "I just want to do that Euro thing." And the rest of the day, he just held the rod out beside the boat and caught fish after fish after fish. And finally, at the end of the day, he was just letting it drag behind the boat, catching fish. But hey, he was happy. He was fly fishing as far as he was concerned, because it looked like a fly rod to him, and there weren't any chicken livers on it. So,
yeah, I would call it a hybrid, maybe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Maybe not a pure thing, but it's a first cousin.
Yeah. And like Anthony said, it goes back to the old mountain ways too, and the old Scottish ways and Scotch Irish, all that stuff up in the Appalachians.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would say it is. The wearing the flat brim hat, saying dude a lot, that's just a whole different culture of people, is all that is. It's and they're not all. I've got a friend that's in his 40s that wears flat brim hats, and he's probably 50 now, and he doesn't need to. So, and he probably drinks Pabst Blue Ribbon too, which is an old style beer.
Barry's older than that, David. So
I wasn't even talking about him this time.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, there's that window after 60. You look good in a flat brim hat. So.
That's true. Yeah.
I was thinking ahead, Barry.
Yeah.
That's it.
Happy retirement.
Got to plan for the future.
I'm telling you right now, at 70, you ain't gonna be wearing one.
Yeah, the one thing I think I've gotten out of this is, we're going to move on to the next question here in a second. But the one thing I've got out of this is, with this group, it's more of, I don't care that you do that, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point that I was trying to make here, other than a gold blade on a woolly bugger.
Who are we to judge?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're wrong, but still, it's okay. It's America.
We're used to them being wrong, aren't we?
We are. See?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. But no, seriously.
Okay, we're done here.
Yeah, right. Now that everybody knows what we think of ourselves, do you know how important we think we are? No, seriously. That's the whole thing. Is if you want to fish that way, that's fine. If you want to sit on the bank and throw a chicken liver in there, more power to you. I hope you throw the fish back so I can catch them. But there
you go.
Stay within the laws.
I hope you go to another river. But anyway, that's okay.
Yeah, right, or another state, somewhere up north.
Yeah. Not where I want to go.
This is all in good fun, y'all. Don't send emails.
That's right.
All right. So here's our mystery question. This question, number 7, is such a mystery. Heck, I can't even remember what the heck it was. So we're moving on. I've been sitting here this whole show going, what in the world was that mystery question? I'm pretty sure that probably about 3:00 in the morning, I'll wake up and go, oh, that's what it was. So anyway.
Don't text us.
No, we're not going to get back together and do that. No.
No. We'll save it for episode 150 or something. Or 125 or 150, whatever. I don't remember.
101.
What was the last show y'all were on? 50? Was it 50 or 75? I can't remember.
I'm guessing 50. I don't know. Doesn't seem like. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So, but we do have another question. This one's a good one.
Good. It was good.
All right. So, what's on the top of your bucket list destination to fish? And I want to know what Barry's got to say, because Barry probably fishes more destination fishing than any of us. So what's on your top of your bucket list right now, Barry?
Don't steal my idea, Barry. We talked about that.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, and I don't
you got to watch out for.
Yeah, really. Yeah. destination fishing. I mean, I do love going out west. I think that's just, we've all loved the West. We all talk about going out the West. And I think that there's something special about that. And I really have fallen in love with, fly fishing out west. My favorite type of fishing, though, is really, I love creek fishing. I love small stream fishing. I love getting in the water with the fish. I think that's just one of the unique things about fly fishing is you're in the water with the fish, and I think when Gary talked about that relationship with nature and all that. And I think when I'm wading in those small streams, I'm with nature or appreciating nature and appreciating the whole aspect of fly fishing. And I have thought about this question quite a bit, and a lot of you guys know the situation. I have a son who's traveling down in South America, and he's currently in Patagonia, and he's a big, he likes rock climbing, mountain climbing down in Patagonia. And he keeps telling me, hey, these people he was running into every time he's out for a hike or a run or climbing, he runs into these people fly fishing. He says, you got to get down here and fish for these brown trout in these streams down here. And I've got to do that. And I have a guy there that knows the language and knows his way around. So I've got to make that happen. But I think that's my big bucket list is to go down to Patagonia, get a nice brown trout, take that all and have some wine, cheese, and bread and
meat.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been dreaming about lately is getting down there in the Patagonia and the Argentina and doing a little of some of that fishing. I think would just be the coolest thing, whether or not it comes together or not. But that's just the photos that he sends back are just spectacular. That the scenery down there is just gorgeous.
So just and I cannot think of it, but Sean is our hero. Gary's son Sean is our hero.
Yeah.
Who just struck off in a van one day and was going to Baja and then decided I'm going to go down the tip of South America to see what's happening down there. And he drove his van down there. He's got a podcast too, Barry. What is the name of it? I cannot think of the name of it.
It is the Path Unknown.
Well, that's a fact. Yeah. So he's living that lifestyle that a lot of people only dream about and think they might want to do one day. And he kicked it off and took off down there, and there he is. He's down there living his dream right now, which is super cool that somebody could do that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So I'm going to move over to Anthony, who has fished many, many places around the world. He's probably gone farther than any of us to fish, which I guess that would be Alaska. Pretty good ways away.
Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome. Barry and I were talking about that this morning on the way to the river. I guess bucket list is brookies and Labrador. I've never been up in that part of the world, and it looks beautiful. And unknown water, new water, and nice size brookies. Yeah, that's my bucket list right now.
Nice on dry flies.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Or chicken livers. I don't know, whichever.
Whatever the tradition is.
You're right. Whatever the tradition is.
I want to fit in with the locals. Yeah, that's it.
Barry, what was that fly? When we all first got together, it was a dry fly. It was a big dry fly. It had the hairs sticking out the front and out the back and had hackle. It was just about an inch.
Is that the one that we tied the very first Liars and Tyers?
It was.
Yeah. The bug.
No, it wasn't that one. It was the dry fly. It was a dry fly. It was I cannot remember the name of that fly.
Linkhammer?
No. It was the size of a terrestrial.
Yeah.
And we tied it.
The Yellow Sally, or
no, it's way bigger than that one.
Oh,
anyway,
the Chuck fly.
No.
What was that thing from the fly chucker that we used to tie?
That was you brought the pattern down from Ohio.
Was something that Matt tied a lot or something? Or?
Yeah, and it's a big dry. Anyway, that's what
the wolf.
Yeah, it's a wolf. It's like a royal wolf fly.
Wolf. The old sable
that's
wolf.
That's it.
Yeah, it's and they use those, I think, up there in Labrador.
They do, yeah.
And they use retrievers up there too. Labrador retrievers. See what I did there?
That's
quick, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Labrador.
The bomber.
And we bomber, stealth bomber.
Yes, is the bomber. Yeah,
Yeah, the
stealth
bomber, the stealth bomber. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank goodness somebody's got a mind left.
Yeah. Well, that's their subconscious kicking in and actually working. All right. So we've got down toward Argentina, South America, and we've got Labrador Yoda. Where do you want to?
I turned 70 in the fall, this past fall.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. It was just, it didn't freak me out or anything, but it gave me pause. And I looked, well, the finish line's coming a little faster than it used to, and it just is. Anthony knows. And so you start evaluating things and you go, how much time, I'm trying to be realistic. How much time do I have? And, I do things other than fly fish, and how many more trips do I have? How many, motorcycle trips, all that stuff. So I started running all that through, my brain for a while. And so I readjusted. I've tried to set some realistic goals for a lot of things, not just for this. And so used to, I would have told you some super exotic place because I would dream about that, Patagonia, places like that I would go. But now I'm just trying to be realistic. And it came to me when I saw that, I was like, boom, I knew exactly without really even thinking about it. And I said, my answer is tarpon on the flats in the Keys because it's doable. I may can actually get that in.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, I'm just trying to be more realistic about what I'm, you don't see many 90-year-olds.
That is actually doable. That is doable.
But my wife showed me a picture this morning that she saw on some fly fishing site. It wasn't you, David. It was something else. And it was a guy on a walker in the Caney Fork.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's dedication. That's fly fishing. If that's not it may be photoshopped. I didn't look at it that close. But if it's for real, you go, now that's I don't care if he's fishing with chicken livers. He get a pass because he's on a walker. But as many times as I've fallen in that river, I kind of thinking that a walker might not be a bad idea.
So the tarpon, I hear that they eat the chicken hoppers.
Yeah.
So I did hear that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can figure out how to cast them, that's the only thing.
Are we shifting our plan now for the trip?
Oh, are we shifting our plan from the Gulf to the Keys? Is that what we're doing?
No.
I think I just heard that.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We're
too far down there right now. We're still on the Gulf and reservations are made.
Okay. All right. So we're going. Okay. Except for one of us. All right. Dan.
Boo.
Dan, what's your bucket list?
10. I actually wrote out a big list of bucket list fish back in 2010. I won't go through all of them. But in looking through, I've caught of the bucket list. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. None from
none on the bucket list.
So there was some stretches, admittedly, through there, stuff like giant trevally over in the Seychelles and roosterfish down in Costa Rica. And while never giving up hope for these things, I'm also starting to retreat closer to home and look at attainable ones or possibly attainable ones. But what I'd like the most like to catch would be a big smallmouth from my home waters. I've caught nice largemouth. I've caught good smallmouth, but I've yet to catch a big, what I would consider big, and that's around 5 pounds plus on the fly from my home waters. So if I can do that, I'd be a happy man.
That's your destination bucket list?
My backyard.
Your backyard, down the steps, into the river.
All right, let me make it more. I'd rather go to the Seychelles and fish for giant trevally. But
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That has every time this question comes up, that answer comes up. You realize
that's true.
Right?
That's true.
That is his answer. So mine was Russia until they decided to get into a war. with somebody else, and I don't figure I want to go over there while they're bombing each other. Even though where I
Good
would
call,
want to go
yeah.
in Eastern Russia is way away from the war, but still, there's probably some reason why I can't go legally. And then I had, how about Mongolia, and fish for taimen, whatever they were.
Ooh,
Yeah, out of boats all day
ooh.
down the river. The people are supposed to be incredible. Marijuana grows on the riverbanks. Not that I would partake,
No.
but I think that would be pretty cool. I don't think anybody over there smokes it either. Excuse me. And
Well, see, there's the difference. Around here, it grows on the riverbanks and people smoke
yeah, true. That's true. But the scenery over there looks awesome. There's a completely different culture than we're used to or know of over there with the herders. And they have falcons and stuff like that for hunting, and I guess probably eagles, that sort of thing for hunting that they use. Just all kinds of different things over there. You stay in yurts, which I think would be pretty cool. I don't know, day 6, I don't know if I would be thinking it was cool or not, but that's a pretty good ways away. And I'm not, I think like Gary's figured out it's just a math problem, really, is all it is. Do I have it? Are there enough digits left in years for me to go do what I want to do? And I think there is for me to get over there. I haven't put forth the effort into it. But the other day, the other night, I recorded a podcast which with Mitch Wisniewski out of North Carolina, and he is the manager and owner of a lodge in Unalakleet, Alaska, and they have 25-inch grayling up there.
Oh,
And I thought that I could do. I could really get into that. So anyway, he's invited me up to come up anytime. So I might have to take him up on that. But I think that's quickly becoming my new destination. And that's what this podcast has really done for me, is it's opened up my eyes to a whole lot of things, not just different destinations, but a whole lot of other stuff, fishing and where to go and what to do, try new things and meet a bunch of new people, great people. So yeah, that and Mitch and that operation up there sounds like something I could really get into for a week, and who knows, after if I get time, we go up there and spend more than a week. So that's right now today. If you had to say today, what's on your bucket list destination, I would have to say Unalakleet Lodge in that area up there. Not just for the salmon, but specifically for those larger graylings. So that's kind of what I'm thinking now. But your brookie up in Labrador sounds great. Fishing in Dan's backyard's fantastic.
yep.
I need my tarpon, and I've always wanted to go to South America and fish. So if any of y'all want to go and have an open slot, please let me know.
Let's go to South America and fish for golden dorado.
I'd love to do that.
Yes.
That's on my list.
We can't even get past the state line.
No, we can't get to Florida with you.
We can't even get to Florida, all of us. What are we talking about here?
Dare to dream.
We can't get to the Caney together anymore.
No,
we can't.
Yeah.
We used to have a lot of floats on the Caney, but hey, we'll get back down there. We've got enough boats now that we can do it again. So, well, what do y'all say we wrap this thing up?
Well, you're the boss, so yeah.
All right. Well, guys, but seriously, thanks for coming out and spending episode 100 with me. Thanks to our audience, whoever's left out there. Thanks for joining us and sticking with us. Hit the like, click the follow, share it around, share the podcast around. Sign up for the Southeastern Fly newsletter. It's free, comes in your inbox a couple times a month. And you just listen to episode 100 with the Liars and Tyers on Southeastern Fly. See you next time.